and welcome to another installation of Hashtag Relationships, where the question of the day is, are you marriage material? It's two parts. And are you meeting or dating marriage material? The reason why I ask this question is because the dating scene has changed quite a bit over the years. Being single it's not a matter of either being single or being married. It's a lot more convoluted. And so what I would like to do is try to help you guys sort things out. I get a lot of really good questions from people who are married and have been married for years. And then I get some really good questions from people who are single and perhaps would like to be married someday the right way. And I really appreciate and welcome all of those questions and comments. Even those, if there's a gripe or a disagreement, I welcome those as well. Just remember, I'm only here trying to help. I also want to offer you these disclaimers as well. I don't have an axe to grind. I don't have a hidden agenda. For those who choose to be single, I'm not anti people who choose to be single. I am pro individuals who sincerely would like to be married the right way someday. I do this because, honestly, I want for you the same thing that I've always wanted for myself, and that is a life of happiness, fulfillment, and longevity. I think what we have lost in society somewhere along the way is to have that conversation on the front porch where maybe one of our elders would sit with us and go over these details. Maybe not. I contend that we might be one of the most undercoached generations that have ever come through the ranks. And by the way we're behaving out there, it almost seems to be proof in the pudding. I also want to make sure that you guys understand that I'm not here to break any man codes, brothers. That's not the point. But at the same time, if I had to declare one objective, it would be to bring masculinity and maturity and thoughtfulness back to the conversation about relationships. That conversation is being dominated by women. I also want to bring femininity back to the conversation about relationships. And I think based on your responses, men appreciate me for that. And women, you seem to find it a nice change of pace, because you guys seem to agree that that is what's missing out there these days: masculinity, maturity, being ladylike, and responsibility and things like that. That shouldn't be the issue, but it sounds like it is from the responses and the questions that I get. And so let's see if we can't level the playing field a little bit and help you guys sift and sort that which you do not want in your life wasting your time. I like to create categories so that we can have some perspective for when we're having these conversations. Just like I gave you the spectrum, the male spectrum, I gave you 10 categories. I'm going to offer you maybe 9, 10, or 11 categories about your social status and whether or not you are marriage material, and the people that you're meeting or dating, are they marriage material? Now, in my first category, or my first two categories, which they don't count, there are two types of people in the world that are actually muddying the waters for relationships in general. They represent sort of the bookends of this conversation. You would put an X next to these two categories because they really don't exist for you. Those are the single people that have no desire to be married. They are bachelors or bachelorettes, I guess, for life. They have no desire to be married. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they don't want to get married, and you should be able to identify them and not waste time trying to change them for your benefit. Then, on the other end of the spectrum, there are individuals who, believe it or not, are married, but they don't wish to be married either. Yes, they may have some kind of arrangement with their mate to where they get to go out and play around, and they meet up with you, and the next thing you know, you're in some situation and circumstance that you refer to as complicated. But it's not. It's pretty simple. The person that you're with is married. It's the end of that conversation. All right, so you have people who are single and don't wish to be married. They're going to play around and they're going to have fun. And I have a friend of mine that he's a wonderful brother. Love him like a brother. But I would never introduce a woman to him if and he's a good guy, nice guy, and all this, fun to be around. And he has no desire to be married. There you go. As a matter of fact, he might date 5 women at a time. He treats it as though it's an NBA draft. And sometimes he may have a 6th player waiting to come in off the bench in case he has to cut one of the other players. Sometimes he looks for the face of the franchise, like the main person, the main athlete, if you will, the LeBron James of the 5. And then he builds around that woman. Does that mean that he's a bad person? Well, not necessarily, because I believe he's very honest about his intentions. And you don't get better than honesty. Because once honesty is on the table, now the choice is yours. Again, don't try to change, or don't think that you're the person who can go in and change someone else. So the 2 categories that go into our X-Files is the single person that does not choose to be married ever, and the married person, though married, does not choose to be married. They may even have a divorce pending. Every time they meet you or meet someone, they say that, there's a divorce pending, and you buy in, but that's another conversation. So we're going to give these categories numbers going forward. Let's start with number 11. And we're going to go up so that we can kind of have some level of continuity. And the next time I refer to someone who's single, I may can assign you to one of these numbers. You might even can chime in and say which one of these numbers apply to you. The 11th category is single and not looking. Single and not looking. Okay? The reason why I didn't start with 1 is because we already went 1 through 10 on the male spectrum, and I don't want to confuse the 2 categories. So no, the 11th category, you're single and you're not looking for whatever reason. Maybe you just ended a relationship. Maybe you just recently got divorced and you just need to do you for a while. Okay? We're not getting into why the person is single and not looking. That's just where they are. The 12th category is you're single, but you're interested in meeting someone. Now, the 11th category may eventually move over to the 12th category when they're ready. But you might meet someone who's single and not looking to be in a relationship, and that's okay. Don't try to change them. And I would advise don't even wait until they move over to the 12th category, because that's not necessarily ever going to be the case either. In the 13th category, you have the single person who is dating, but they're dating multiple people, like my friend. They don't have an exclusive person that they're seeing. All right, so they're single and dating, and it's not exclusive. That's category number 13. You can come out and ask these questions directly, and I think you would feel better the next time you meet someone if you had some filters in place to kind of see who it is that you're actually dealing with based on what your needs are at the time. Then the 14th category is you're single and you're dating and you're dating exclusively. So that is the arrangement. Notice I'm saying single. Even though you may be in a relationship, you're still single if you're not married. All right? The 15th category is you are in a new relationship and it's been less than a year. So you would consider yourself in a relationship, but it's a new relationship and it's been less than a year. You know, that's not a bad place to be, but you're still learning so much about an individual in the first year, especially if you just met them and it's not somebody that you've known for a while. So that's category number 15. That may be some of you. And category number 16 is you are single, but you are in a steady relationship for over 3 years. Not a bad place to be. But at some point, you're going to want to move into the 17th category, which is engaged to be married. All right? You're engaged to be married, but you're still categorically single. Category number 18, you are married, but your marriage is not stable. It's incomplete. It's 18 because you have a oneness, which means you are married, but the 8 is that's the loop. You're in a loop. You might be separated, and you guys can recover from the separation. Technically, you're married, but you're not necessarily together. And maybe you go back and forth. And maybe that's driving you nuts. But that's why you need to gain some clarity, because your goal and your objective for being married is to be in the 19th category, which is you're in a very stable, healthy marriage. It's a marriage of commitment, a marriage of fulfillment and longevity, and you feel complete. That's the 19. 9 being the number of completion, 1 representing the marriage. And you do feel like a complete your life is complete with the fact that you are complete in and of yourself. Your mate is complete, and together you guys complete the need to belong to the marriage that you have. You've developed it, you've nurtured it, it has matured, and you guys kind of represent the standard. Congratulations. All right. I think this covers it. So we have 2 categories that, in real quick review, that really don't exist. Don't waste your time. Single, don't want to be married. Married, don't want to be married. Don't fall for it. All right? And don't think that you're going to change anybody from where they are to where you want them to be. And as always, I wish you happiness. I wish you good health. And I wish you many, many blessings. My name is Jay Jackson.